Welcome, teacher, and welcome, dear viewers. Today, you will be telling us about third satanic stratagem, greed.
That's right.
Hakan hocam, Hakan teacher, and we offer you the microphone, please.
Thank you very much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. We have started the six satanic strategies, satanic tactics that modern Muslims, well, Muslims in general, may face. So the original piece that appears in Bediüzzaman's book called The Letters, Mektubat, and the original piece is called Hücumat-ı Sitte, which literally translates the six attacks. Hücumat-ı Sitte, where Bediüzzaman identifies six stratagems that Satan can deploy. So we should be aware of these satanic tactics and watch our steps. I'm gonna quickly recap what we covered so far. Remember, there are six satanic tactics we should be aware of. The first one was desire for rank and position, hubbujah in original. So that was the first satanic tactic. The second one we talked about last month was sense of fear, hissi khawf, being afraid of things, sense of fear. The third satanic tactic, which is the focus of today's talk, is greed. And the fourth one we're gonna talk about in December, inshallah, that's racism. Remember, this piece was written in 1934, almost like 90 plus years ago. So Bediüzzaman talks about racism being the fourth satanic tactic that is used against people, against believers, against Muslims. Racism, 1934. We started talking about equality and anti-racism, etc., only recently. But Bediüzzaman was talking about this and identifying this back in 1934. So he is kind of ahead of his time. So the fourth satanic tactic is racism. The fifth one that we're gonna talk about in the month of January, hopefully, is egotism, jealousy, and selfishness. Very popular, very modern. And the last one, the sixth satanic strategy, is laziness. So we're going to find out more about them in the coming months. But this month, which is November, we're going to look at the third satanic stratagem, Dessise-i Şeytaniye, satanic stratagem, which is greed. As we always do, I'm looking at the reader that I prepared many years ago, and I tend to lecture from this book when I do it on site. But for now, we're gonna look at the original text. I'm gonna share the screen so you can follow with me. So desktop free, I share, and hopefully you are seeing the third satanic stratagem. That is greed. Before we focus on the text, if you are watching this for the first time, I'll tell you how we get this text. I'm gonna zoom out a bit. This is a site called irisale.com. You choose language English on the right top corner, and you're gonna come. These are the books. You're gonna come. These are the five books available in English. You're gonna come to the letters, And you're gonna go to 29th letter, sixth section, third stratagem, page 480. So if you want to carry on reading and look at the other stratagems, that is how you can reach this page. So the letters, the 29th letter, sixth section, the third stratagem. So we're gonna be reading this today. As I keep repeating myself, the idea is to the word, the audience with the text. Instead of me preaching and talking all the time, we focus on the actual text and we read the original material. So the third satanic stratagem, Satan hunts many people through greed, tamah, hissi tamah, asking for more, not being satisfied with anything, wanting more and more and more. This is greed. This is tamah. We have proved in many treatises, treatise means Risale. We have proved in many treatises with certain proof that have issued forth from the clear verses of the all-wise Quran that licit sustenance comes not in accordance with power and will, but proportionately to powerlessness and want. Let's open this bit up. To live this life, there is designated sustenance, rızık, that is sustenance. It could be in two forms. One is licit sustenance, helal rızık. One is illicit sustenance, haram rızık. So we are talking about licit sustenance, helal rızık. And Bediüzzaman says it is designated for you, and the way to attain that sustenance is not with power and will, but it is from powerlessness and want. What does that mean? He's going to elaborate on this, but I'm going to give you an example. As you become more powerful in life, Allah Ta'ala makes sustenance harder for you to get. As you are weak and powerless, sustenance becomes easy for you to attend. Let's give an example. You're a baby. You can't say anything, you can't walk, you can't talk. All you can do, you can just cry. And Allah sends your sustenance, that's your mom's milk, fed directly into your mouth. Because you're powerless, you're weak, Allah sends sustenance to you because you're a baby. As you grow older, you become a toddler. Now your mom gives a plate of pasta and a fork. She says, go and eat it yourself. You become a teenager. Now your mom says, I'm not preparing anything for you. Go to the kitchen, sort yourself out, make yourself something to eat. You pass 18, 19, 20. Now no one cares about you. You need to get a job. You need to get a flat. You need to earn your own income. You need to go to Lidl or Aldi or whatever supermarket you're using. Do your own shopping. Come home. Cook your own food. You see, as your power level increases, sustenance becomes harder and harder. So, Bediüzzaman uses a lot of mathematical terms that I quite like. He says attaining sustenance is inversely proportional with the level of power you have. If you studied mathematics, if you're into algebra, probably you heard of this expression, inversely proportional. Opposite of inversely proportional is directly proportional. So your chance to attain sustenance is directly proportional with your powerlessness, ajz. If you are more powerless, it's easier for you to get sustenance. If you have more powerful, it's harder for you to attain sustenance. Right, let's look how because some of the elaborations and explanations are actually from Risale-i Nur itself. So let's see how Bediüzzaman elaborates his point. So let's go back. Licit sustenance, helal rızık, licit sustenance comes not in accordance with power and will, but proportionately to powerlessness and want. There are numerous signs, indications, and evidence demonstrating this truth. For instance, let's look at the example. Trees. They can talk, they can walk, they can even move. They are stationary. They are on the face of a rock, top of a mountain, bottom of a valley, somewhere in the middle of desert. It is a tree. It cannot move. Tree, which are animate beings of a sort and in need of sustenance, remain in their places, and their sustenance comes hastening to them. They can move, but they still need rizq. They still need sustenance. As they are powerless, Allah sends them the rain. Allah sends them the sunshine. Allah sends them minerals through soil, and Allah makes them grow. We scientists, we describe it as, oh, magic chemical reaction called photosynthesis. Okay, that's what we call the process. But what we are observing there is Allah Ta'ala sending sustenance to that tree. Light, rain, warmth, and minerals. Yes, the process is called photosynthesis scientifically, but in reality, it is Allah Ta'ala feeding that tree, sending that tree its sustenance. That's an example of a tree. Doesn't do anything at all. Sustenance, rızık, comes hastening to them. While since animals chase after it greedily, they are not nurtured as perfectly as trees. So Bediüzzaman is comparing plants with animals. Because if it is an animal, they got intelligence, albeit at a limited capacity. They have sight, they got claws, they got legs, they can fly, they can do lots of things. They have certain level of power, animals, compared to plants. But if you look at plants, they are well nourished, massive, they grow. Whereas animals, they have to struggle. They have to fight to get their sustenance. You see the logic there. As they get powerful, rızık, sustenance becomes harder for them to attain. Now let's focus on the animal kingdom. Remember, we start off with trees, plants. Now we are into animal kingdom. So let's look what's happening in animal kingdom. Remember, the whole point of this example is to tell you and me, the reader, the listener, why greed is pointless. Because sustenance is inversely proportional with power, and sustenance come easily as a result of powerless and want. Okay, so let's look at animal kingdom. What's happening in animal kingdom? Also, although fish are the most stupid and powerless of the animals and are found in sand, their being the best nourished and generally appearing fat, while intelligent and capable animals like the monkey and fox are weak and thin from their scanty sustenance. This example shows, even among animals, that need is the means of sustenance, not power. You need it, you're powerless, ajz, and you ask for it, and Allah sends that sustenance to you. So, fish, no intelligence, you know, at the bottom of a lake, they get quite big, like whales or other kind of fish. Even among fish, when they become powerful, like sharks, they have to hunt for their prey, and it's harder for them uh, to get their sustenance. Also, the fine sustenance of all young, whether human or animal, and milk, the delicate gift of the treasury of mercy being bestowed on them in an unexpected way out of compassion for their weakness and impotence. And the difficult circumstances of wild animals show that impotence and want are the means of licit sustenance rather than intelligence and power. So I'm not sure if we should read this bit because we are broadcasting this on YouTube. But this is what Bediüzzaman wrote, 1934. Uh, he gives example of Jewish people. So I'm just gonna read for the sake of sticking to the original text. So the next example. Among the nations of the world, there is none that pursues sustenance more than the Jewish nation, which is notorious for its intense greed. But they have suffered more than any from poor livelihoods amid degradation and poverty. Even the rich among them live in lowly fashion. In any event, the possessions they have acquired by such illicit means as usury, riba, interest, bank interest, do not comprise licit sustenance that it might refute our discussion here. Also, the fakr, fakr, of many literary figures and scholars, and the wealth and riches of many stupid people show that the means of attracting sustenance is not intelligence and power, but impotence and want. I give this example. I say, uh, I mean, you look at rich people around you. I give the example to one of my very good friends. We did PhD together. He studied I don't know. We studied in different countries. He did masters and he was doing PhD. He did PhD in Britain. He speaks, I think, at least five languages, but he's always poor. He's always short of money. And he looks around people doing business, kebab shops or barbers or construction. They're quite wealthy. And he says, "Ya abi, how come I never have?" I say, "Right, bring me to what I'm gonna show you the example." So this bit I share with him. He laughs, he smiles, and he says, "Yeah, it is true." I mean, you look at people. I was only thinking about one of these very famous poets I met, world famous. Everybody knows him. He came to visit the university. I think he came on a bus. I don't think he had a car. He was that poor, that man, but famous. He wrote books and poems and stuff. So this is a good example. We are gonna ultimately connect all the ends to greed. So your education, your intelligence, your power, your looks, nothing brings wealth. Nothing brings sustenance to you. مالك الملك يتصرف في ملكه كيفما يشاء. Or in the Quranic sense, قل اللهم مالك الملك تؤتي الملك من تشاء وتنزع الملك ممن تشاء. That's Quranic verse. This is Allah is the owner of the property. He gives whomever he wants to give, and he takes and reduces from whomever he wants to reduce. You can look at the translation of this Quranic verse. قُلِ اللَّهُمَّ مَالِكِ الْمُلْكِ تُؤْتِي الْمُلْكَ مَنْ تَشَاءُ وَتَنْزِعُ الْمُلْكَ مِمَّنْ تَشَاءُ. إلى آخره. It carries on. But the bottom line is this. Allah decides who gets rich, who gets poor, who gets what. So, uh, it says, many stupid people, riches of many stupid people show that the means of attracting sustenance is not intelligence and power, but impotence and want. It is submitting to Allah while relying on Him and supplication by word, state, and deed. Okay, this is quite an important one. So, first thing we're gonna appreciate is Allah huve malikil mulk. Allah owns everything and He decides who gets what. But are we supposed to just sit down and do nothing? No. We need to do supplication, dua. How do we do dua? In three ways. First way is by word. You say, "O Lord, O Allah, you are the Malikil Mulk. Give me some goodness from your wealth, whatever is good for me." You say dua. This is kind of worship. So you do dua, supplication in words. You ask Allah whatever you want. You want a new car? Ask for it. You want some success? Ask for it. You want a partner? Ask for it. This is the first one, oral, verbal. Second one is state, hal, your state. Are you striving towards it? You have an exam. You sit down, you did your 4 rakat prayer, and you ask Allah, you say supplication, "Oh Lord, make me successful tomorrow." But what state are you in? Are you doing anything to get a success? So your state is also matter. And your deed, your actions, your mindset, that's your state. Your actions, your deed matters. Okay, I tried many times and failed many times. So that is Bediüzzaman calls dua fiili. supplication by action. So you do things, you work hard, but you should acknowledge that it's not you, it's Allah who decides whether you get or not. So, with that in mind, that's your state. You keep working, you keep asking, so you comply with supplication by word, supplication by state, and supplication by deed. So, the verse, the Quranic verse, which reads, "For God is He who gives all sustenance, Lord of power, and steadfast forever." So, for those who are curious, I think I'm gonna show you Suratul Ghariyat 51, 58. I'll just double check. 51, 58. Because sometimes, if you are familiar with the Quran, reading the Quranic verse rings a bell. Inna Allah huwa razzaqu zul quwwatil mateen, which translates, indeed, it is Allah who is the continual provider, the firm possessor of strength. Inna Allah huwa razzaqu zul quwwatil mateen. So that is the Quranic verse Bediüzzaman refers here. So this Quranic verse proclaims this truth and is a powerful, firm proof of this assertion of ours, which all plants and animals and young recite. Every group of creature that seeks sustenance recites this verse through the tongue of disposition. Since sustenance, rizq, is appointed and bestowed, and it is Almighty God who gives it, and since He is both all compassionate and munificent, those who degrade themselves by making illicit gains in such a way as to cast aspersions on His mercy and insult His munificence, and give their conscience and even certain sacred matters as bribes, and accept things which are unlawful and inauspicious. They should ponder over just what compounded lunacy this is. Yes, the worldly, especially the people of misguidance, do not give away their money cheaply. They sell it at a high price. Sometimes something which may help a little towards a year of worldly life is the means of destroying infinite eternal life. And with that vile greed, the person draws divine wrath on himself and tries to attract the pleasure of the people of misguidance. Oh, my brothers, if those who tow thee to the worldly and the dissemblers among the misguided lay hold of you due to this weak vein in human nature, think of the above truth and take this poor brother of yours as an example. I assure you with all my strength that contentment and frugality ensure your life and sustenance more than does a salary. If you are content, if you are minimalist, if you are frugal, economizing on everything, sustenance comes with barakah. Very little goes a long way. Greed reverses this. I have seen a lot of people, mathematically, I look at how much money they are making, and they always talk about shortage of money. They cannot give anything to charity. You just go up to them. I said, look, brother, we are fundraising for, I don't know, for Palestine or for Africa or somewhere. They say, oh, we are short of cash. Yeah, but you're sitting in a five-bedroom house and an Audi in your driveway. You see, they are not content, they are not frugal. That's why, even though a lot of money coming in, there is no barakah in it. So money comes, money goes, and they are never happy. Whereas the complete opposite, your minimalist like Bediüzzaman himself, very little money can go a long, long way because you're frugal, you're content, you're happy, you're satisfied with God, and it's much easier for you. So frugality ensures your life more than a salary. As for any unlawful money that is given to you, they will want a price 1,000 times higher in return. In many also hinder you your service of the Quran, which may open for you an everlasting treasury, or it may make you slack in that service. And that would be such a loss and emptiness that even if they gave you 1,000 salaries every month, they could not fill its place. Warning: the people of misguidance are not able to defend themselves and reply to the truth of belief and the Quran, which we take from the all wise Quran and disseminate. Therefore, through intrigue and dissembling, they employ snares of deception and wile. They want to deceive my friends through the desire for position, greed, and fear, and to refute me by ascribing certain things to me. We always act positively in our sacred service, but unfortunately, sometimes the duty of removing the obstacles in the way of some good matter impels us to act negatively. It is because of this that I am warning my brothers concerning the above mentioned 3 points in the face of the cunning propaganda of the dissemblers. I am trying to rebuff the attacks that are leveled at them. So I'll just summarize this because the language is original and it is archaic because when good Mary Weld, my neighbor in England, when she translated Risale-i Nur, she used kind of all the English. That's why reading Risale-i Nur in English is equally difficult as reading it in its original form. But I'm quite pleased that is how it is because it gives you the taste of the original. To sum up, Bediüzzaman points out you should not sell your soul, your mission, and yourself for a little money. That is greed. And if people offer you wealth and material benefit, you can be 100% sure they expect something in return. In English, we say there is no such thing as free lunch. So be careful what they are offering, what you are expecting, accepting. Bediüzzaman says, don't be greedy. Be frugal, be content with Allah gives you. And always be in the state of supplication by word, being in the correct state, and being in the right action. Work towards it, but whatever Allah gives you, be content with it. Don't be greedy and don't sell your mission. Don't sell your values. Don't sell yourself for a little money. Probably you see a lot of people, they sell themselves very cheaply. They abandon their missions cheaply for a, few dollars. Bediüzzaman says, Allah is Malikul Mulk. He's the all-powerful. You keep doing right and expect Allah to look after you. Okay, so far we have covered the first stratagem, love of rank and position. Second stratagem, fear. The third stratagem was greed. So, inshallah, next week, next month in December, we're gonna look at the fourth stratagem, which is racism, nationalist feelings, Bediüzzaman calls it. But in modern English, it is racism. Right, this is the end of the third stratagem. Thanks for being with me. I hope to see you on the next one. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much, Teacher Hakan. We hope to see you again